This game is not very friendly with multi-monitor setups. Trying to switch from full screen to windowed and tabbing out. It takes for fucking ever. It flashes like 12 billion times trying to figure out what to do. And yeah, then it actually fucking works. Can you believe this? Ah, shit. And I accidentally clicked out. Hooray! I love it when everything works fucking perfectly. Cause, you know, I can't see my mouse cursor. Seems to be a running issue with these games somehow. So I'm gonna flash another 12 million times before I actually get back into the game. And before it actually finds its frames again. Oh my god, 15 FPS, do you love it? Oh, yes, I love it too. And we're back! Wow! Can you believe it? Crazy stuff, right? Okay, well. I hate to do this again, but I don't know. I just don't know where to start with this. Really, I just don't know. Yeah, I specifically played Tales of Zestiria to see if the reviews, you know, were right with the combat being bad, and they were right. Yeah, it was pretty bad. So I went into this game, right, Tales of Berseria, thinking because the positive nature of the reviews on Steam was just you know, supposed to give me, you know, an impression of a better experience, but for some goddamn reason you can't trust anything like that. No metrics other than your own. And yeah, for some reason combat is even worse for a magnitude of different reasons. And yeah, I hope I can go over some of them, explain some of them. And I just don't understand how people find this better compared to the other one. Because it's basically the same thing, just made a bit worse in like a few or multiple aspects, really. Actually, I think this game is overall worse than Tales of Zestiria. I don't know if that's a hot take, but I'll take it, right? So yeah, controls, we're gonna go over that. And which is nice, right? You can actually map everything as far as I can tell, right? We have like 3 menus for mappings now. The mappings were, and probably still are, quite dog shit overall when it comes to PC mappings. I tried to fix them as much as I could, or as much as I was willing to try. There's still double mappings happening, and there's still things that you can't map how I would like them to be mapped due to overlaps and other random shit, but generally you can map things. Satisfactory? Not really, but it doesn't really matter, right? I still like how it says player 1. I don't know what do you want me to do about this? There's nothing I can do. I can't change this, so I can't scroll right or left over here. I don't know. I can use gamepads if I want to, but this is a PC game, so no. Right, and this is just the same as it always was. With, yeah, settings. I'm not entirely sure. Wait, there was one thing that I'm not entirely sure how it works with controls. I think it was like map camera, right? X-axis and Y-axis is on normal and inverted, right? So normal would mean for me, if I press up, I go up, and if I press down, it goes down. Right? So, if we go back in here. So as you can see, rotate camera up, I have on down. And rotate down, I have on up. So left is on right, and right is on left. So I don't know if that's like a problem, because when I pressed right, it was going left, and when I pressed left, it was going right. So like it was inverted. Maybe I'm just understanding this wrong, that inverted just means the complete opposite of what I thought it was all the time. But yeah, I don't know really. I really don't know. Because I always thought inversion would mean, you know, the opposite. If you invert something, right, changes direction, the camera will rotate when pressing, while moving. But it's on normal. So if I press right, I would expect it to go right? But it doesn't, it goes left. So I had to manually change that. So I don't know. I just don't know. I really don't know. But while we're menuing, right, hey, look, we can press on all of this, which is crazy, right? We can also go in here and then just go and do whatever we want, right? We don't need specific things. We can go on like these screens with the buttons that are actually shown, but we don't need to press like insane buttons like insert or fucking whatever the hell it was. So this is still as messy as it ever is, because for some reason we start with 4, go to 3, then go to 1 and 2. So I don't know why that is a thing. I just don't know. I just don't know, and I don't understand what this is supposed to mean. AWSD4? Like, is this just a idle setting? I don't know. I don't know. That's why I didn't set anything here. And yeah, we can still put this on. Right, auto, semi-auto, if you really wanted that, and this is still the same, more or less. But some of this you can't disable because it just depends on what you're doing while fighting going on. So there's really only just so much you can do when it comes to this, and well, I think it's more limited here as well compared to the other abilities. Like, these are just purely melee based combat abilities with the swords, and then you have those with the staff, which is like actual magic spells. So it does feel like there's less, especially so when you have characters that are purely, well, it's not right now, but they're more or less purely, you can't even see it on this. Like, this is just the base stats, but if you go in here, you can, wait, no, man, I just changed my stuff around. So yeah, I just had this on because the item drop rates increased when I was farming shit. So if you have this on just magic, this counts for, actually let's go over that too, if we go in here. The help is actually way better tutorialing, since most of the tutorial stuff actually comes up in battles themselves, so you can understand what the fuck you're doing. And yeah, stats wise, attack affects hidden and martial art damage. So this is more or less the basic attacks. And then you have the magic attacks, right? Hidden and other non-martial art damage. Defense reduces damage from hidden and martial arts. Art defense reduces damage from hidden and other non-martial arts. Focus is SG, regeneration rate, and chances of inflicting status effects, which is probably the biggest, most important thing in this, inflicting status effects, and we're gonna get to that. Those suffering from reduced attack are 4 times more likely to get inflicted with paralysis, right? So if you have a debuff for reduced attack, you are more likely to get another status ailment, right? So, which also affects your SG, which is just represented here by these blue squares instead of a number that says 100. You have these blue squares, and if you the base is 3 blue squares, right? Like this, and you can go up to 5 while you fight, or also can get less depending on what's going on in battles. But you can also boost this up based on equipment on our ship, which is okay, but is also a problem because it still depends on what enemy you're fighting and what team you have, basically. So for me, that means when we just look at these stats, attack is just normal attacks, right? So if I go and do normal attacks, which is the only thing that we have, basically, this is just physical damage. But then you also have art damage, which does depend on, which I think means that whatever elemental damage is on like a melee weapon hit, like for this has water and air, that affects that damage. Unless I'm completely understanding this wrong, because if we see here, right, this is normal melee attacks, so the melee attack damage would affect that melee attack, right? But he never used those, or the AI opted out of using that because I was focusing this more on just using as a mage, right? So the AI itself never used this. I never controlled any of these characters most of the time. So the AI was just going with, this. Maybe it does not mean what I think it does, and I completely understood it the wrong way. But I don't know. Maybe it's just meant for balancing out things, but it doesn't really make sense if that's what it is. Because in the first place, I don't even have like art attacks and normal attacks. Most that would affect was maybe those. Maybe this. But these are break arts, so I don't know. Does it really? I have no idea. But something that was apparent really fast is, of course, how spammy this game is and this combat. So if you really wanted to make a difference, so to say, you would need to spam out the enemy, which means just staggering them, lifting them up in the air, dropping them on the floor, stunning them, and whatnot, right? So the easiest way to do that is to just out-spam them with magic, basically. And you can also get into battles differently. If you go from the back, you get a favorable encounter, which means the enemy starts with less of those blue squares than they would initially have when they just run into you. And those blue squares are basically how many attacks you can do. Your SG, right? So the enemy is also limited by this way, but the more you have, the more you can attack, but the less you have, the less you can combo, right? And the way you get these attack combos to stay or to rise is by stuns, kills, I believe status ailments as well. So if you get stunned, you lose a blue square. And there are situations that are just absolutely terrible for you. If you get hammered by something, you get stunned, you lose control of what you can do by like 2-3 seconds. But while you're stunned, you can get hammered some more with status ailments, which means you lose even more of your attacking ability through that. And then you have to do with worse of an attacking ability and try to inflict stuns and status ailments to the enemy to regain some of these blue squares. You can also quick evade, which means just shielding at the right moment, and a blue square might fly out and on the field of combat, and then you can pick that up again and raise it up. But yeah, you don't want to be hammered into stuns and status ailments, because you know that diminishes your ability to fight, and that's kind of bad in a game that's about fighting, right? So it's still the same way as it was in Zestiria, where you're better off just hammering away at the enemy before they can hammer away at you, right? And it's easy to do on enemies that are easy to control, but there's also enemies that are just running, rushing all over the map and just spamming spells. Like, there's no tomorrow, which just absolutely fucking murder everyone. Even the AI doesn't know what to fucking do with that. Not even the AI. And I played on moderate before, then I cranked it up to hard, and just to see, you know, the difference. And it basically is just like before. They react less, have less health, and have less of a level. And the more you crank it up, the more they do, the more they react, the more health they have, the higher the level is, and so on, right? So, yeah. First playthroughs, again, get diminishing returns based on what difficulty you have set. If you have it on moderate. If you have it on normal, everything is normal. If you have it on moderate, you again get less experience for battles, but get more bonus experience. And a bonus experience gets awarded by how well somebody does during a fight. And that can be awarded to every single one on your team. And yeah, if you crank it up to moderate, you get less experience but more money. And that affects also like other higher difficulties. If you would go into New Game Plus again, you again have the chance to the grades you earned during battle to, you know, give yourself double experience, triple experience. You get double grade again. And the problem with that is that getting grade in this game is even worse because you can't boost them up. Like, the only way to get grade is through battles in here. In the other game, you could you could basically buy into your grade by paying for it on those areas controlled by seraphs, which you can't do here. So the only way to get grade is through battle, and from what I was able to grind out and what I saw, there's no way in hell that you can grind out enough on your first playthrough to just go for a second playthrough. So you actively want to, you know, just finish it through, then get to the second playthrough, and then probably to a third if you really like this so much that you wanna fucking spend 300 hours in it. I don't. I'm probably not even gonna go to the second playthrough because everything is just too tedious in this. Infuriatingly so. Oh my god, I can't speak. And everything is much slower and worse. Really. So even escaping from fights is worse. Before you could just press escape, right? The bar would go up and then you could escape. But here you have to actively run into the battle border to actually escape. Which, you know, makes escaping kinda hard when you're facing like 4 enemies that just constantly try to hammer your ass into the ground. And yeah, grade system is still as confusing. You get even less grade now. It's like minuscule shit. Even on more difficult enemies, the most you can probably get out of that is like 40. Like boss fights, right attacks, you get 40. In the other game, you were able to dish out like enough to get 200, 300, and I get that there. That was scaled up because there was more to do with grade than it was here. And yeah, that's pretty much it. when it comes to how the grade works. The thing about moving around is it's really slow. In the other game you were assuming. This is like normal speed, right? This is normal movement speed. And you're supposed to walk through maps like this. And the other one you were fucking zooming through it. And this is even boosted. This is even boosted through some of these items. Like I have like 3 items or something that boost movement speed. Yeah. So this movement speed is already boosted by like 30%. And it's still slow as shit. But they made a solution to that. And the solution is, I don't know, it kind of feels like immersion breaking. You get a hoverboard. And it doesn't really make sense to me to have a hoverboard in this. And it also controls like ass, because the moment you get on it, it just moves forward. This, you pull it out and it just moves forward. There's also like absolute fucking shit control on this. Because the moment you let go of a button, there's always like a small delay before it actually stops or actually moves. And yeah, it's not that much faster. A marginal amount faster. So I don't know who thought this was, you know, cutting it. And the easy solution would have been to just, you know, make you able to boost on this thing somehow. Because there is mini games where you write this thing, and there is items in those mini games that make you able to actually boost and be faster. So why couldn't they just have that over on the overworld as well? I just don't know. I don't know. I just don't know. So those enemies that are below your level, you can just run them over, right? So you don't have to fight them. They don't get in your way when you traverse places. But why couldn't they make it so if you run into something and you run it over, you get a speed boost? Which would make it easier to just go around these places, right? And it would also make sense. And yeah, I just don't understand. Everything is so slow and so tedious to just go around that I would never want to just replay this again. Just based on that fact alone. And then we have equipment. Right, equipment that you can upgrade again. But it's also made even worse, even more tedious if you will. Because in Zestiria you were just able to slap items together on top of each other and then upgrade them. But here you need to find an item, basically destroy the item, and then you get materials out of that. Right? You destroy items that you don't need, and then you get materials out of it. And then you use those materials to upgrade, to enhance weapons in here. The problem with that is that you're sifting through all items that you're getting and sorting them and what you can keep and what you can't, and then you're destroying the other ones by dismantling them. So you're doing basically the same thing twice. Instead of just putting the items together, you dismantle them and then you go over the items again to see what's worth even upgrading in the first place. And then some materials you can't even get that easily because you have to have certain levels of upgraded items. Like if you have a level 1 upgrade, you get specific items for it when you dismantle them, and then you also get specific things for dismantling them depending on what random skill is assigned on that item. And the more you have it upgraded, the better upgrade materials you get out of it. And I wouldn't see that as an issue if there was any way to actually buy upgrade materials, but you can't. At least not now. Which is just weird to me, because you buy all sorts of random shit in here, but not upgrade materials. But if I go to sell, I can sell mine to the shop, which is just don't understand. But you can never buy it. Like if I go to materials, right, buying, you only buy food, and I've never seen a shop sell any upgrade material in there. Like, never. Not my fucking entire playthrough. So I don't know if this is something that they add on the second playthrough again, you know, as a ease up method of just doing things, but I don't know. It's just weird. It's generally weird, even with all the items that you find. There's so many trash items in this that just riddle the world, that have no real meaning. When it comes to materials, salvage items, for instance, it's just random shit that's strewn throughout the world, or you can find through just through looking around with your scout ships, and these things are just useless. Basically, all you can do with them is just sell them for money, and that's it. So I don't know why this even exists. It's just a waste of time when you're walking around picking shit up. Which is also made worse because the things that you randomly pick up can be just salvage items, which you just sell for money, or they could be enhancing materials. But you never know until you touch it, you pick it up. So it's a whole bunch of busy work with little to no meaning to it, and I don't like it. Okay, I don't like it. Before you could slap items together with skills on them, which would create other skills. Here you just destroy the item outright and then level up an item that you like the stats of. But the stats are also just entirely randomized now. Before you had some influence if you picked a Norman that you could put in with certain effects. But here it's just randomized entirely. You could have one random skill on it, you could have 2 random skills on it, or you could have 3 random skills on it, depending on your progress through the game. But it's always random, and the random effects that you have on it are just... I just don't understand sometimes. Like, just look on some of these in here, see what we can find. Maximum HP plus 50 is a random skill. That's really useful. Said nobody ever, because my HP is 6,200, and having a max HP bonus of 50 on there, just what does that do? That's like 0.5% of my overall health pool. It's just a waste of space, right? And then you have other things like 10% chance to revive is if reduced to 0 HP. Okay, cool. I have a chance to just get revived when I get fucking murdered. Great. I probably would want to not get murdered in fights to begin with, so another bad random skill in my opinion. Right, and then you have other stat bonuses, like this beautiful +5 on here, which really doesn't mean too much when you have 700 of it already. So this is also a waste. But there's also alterations of how much these random skills do. So this 5 could also be 8, could also be 15, or 40, maybe even more. Who knows? I've only seen 40 once. But I don't know. I still would rather not have this on here, because it's not really that impactful, and it doesn't go up even if you upgrade the weapons. The only thing that really goes up when you upgrade weapons is this damage against stun foes, so this first enchantment bonus basically goes up on whatever it is. And everything else stays the same. Which makes no sense if you have 50 health on a weapon and then it never fucking increases the more you upgrade it. So yeah, I don't know. I just don't know. Right, so if I look at one of my weapons here, damage against stun foes goes up by 90% because I upgraded 9 times. But non-elemental attack power is plus 4%, which is basically nothing. It's a nonsense, nothing stat. 4% doesn't really mean anything to me. If I do 400 damage and it goes up 4%, I get like 40 out of it. Wow, crazy stuff. And yeah, the same goes for effect of, you know, status ailments reduced by. That can also be 40, 60, 80, or 100%. And I don't know how that stacks together, really. I haven't really looked into that too much. To Do we have anything? Effective slow, effective poison is reduced by 100%. I assume that means you can't be poisoned. I don't know if you can go over that stat. But I would assume just getting 100 roll would basically mean that can't be affected by that status ailment anymore. Or the duration of the status ailment or the damage the status ailment inflicts on you maybe is reduced by a set amount. Like, let's say if you have a standard of 5 seconds and it's reduced by 100%, it reduces that, I don't know, technically by 5 seconds, so you don't get affected by it, but maybe by half of it is reduced by 100%. I don't know how it calculates this, doesn't really make much sense to me overall, and yeah, this is just, there's so much garbage nonsense upgrades on these random skills that just make me question, like, why half of these HP recovery on defeating a foe, right? Plus 30. Wow, I defeat an enemy and I get 30 health back. That's crazy when I have like 6,000 health. Somebody could just cast a healing spell or could eat an item and I would heal for like 30% of my health, not just fucking 30. Like, what is this shit, right? So Mercy are just absolute piss. Then you also have poisoning capability going up by 1.08. I don't even know what my poisoning capability is in the first place. So how much that actually affects my ability to do something with that, I have no idea. And yeah, it's great. Can we have? Okay, and the worst thing, don't even have it here. It goes somewhere else. But there's also random skills dropping that basically give you, I don't even know if we have some equipped. Like this, these stat increases are just kind of pointless. Even if you could have multiple ones, then it might have an impact, right? If you have a plus 40 on every single item that you equip, would be like plus 200, then it's maybe effective, but at the same time you might as well just use it up for something else, I would say. Like, this does nothing. Absorb HP effect is pretty good, if you ask me, because if you have an attack that absorbs HP, that effect gets increased, so you can stay in fights more by just fighting, right? Like an active health regen or like health leeching effect. This is just about breaking souls. Time you can't use items is reduced by 12%. So if you use an item in a battle, which still gets penalized, by the way, when you earn grade, is reduced. So kind of pointless, really. Another useless stat that you don't want to see. And then you have just the ability to do more damage against specific enemies, which is probably one of the better ones to put on, because that means that you are doing more damage against certain enemies. So more damage is always better, if you ask me. Taking less damage or doing more damage with certain things may be good, depending on how much you use some attacks, but then again, this is all randomized and you can't really pick something that you want on your item. All damage taken is reduced by 60, which also doesn't mean much when you're just getting hammered by one attack and lose 1,000 health. And then you have the most useful abilities, which means you get a stat bonus when your HP is 8% or lower. So this requirement for this to even take effect is having low health, which is not something that you actually want in a fight, because if you have low health, then it probably means you're doing badly and you're close to dying. And dying is bad. Okay? And then you have more story unlock shit, like invulnerable for 17 seconds at the start of battle. Okay, does help during early fights with enemies that are really fucking spammy, that just cast your ass into the fucking grave. And yeah, but the overall things that are better on weapons is probably just having this damage over 1000 is reduced by 40%, which is just a specific thing for items. You can't even get that as a random skill as far as I know. And this is just through upgrades. So if you go in a battle, you do break souls. And the better your item is upgraded, the more break soul damage you do. So you need upgraded weapons if you want to do well in fights. So if you have a shit weapon, you're automatically not going to do well in fights. Whereas in the other one, you didn't specifically need a upgraded weapon to do well in fights. It just was reliant on, you know, your own ability during fights, more so I would say, and your weapon stats overall. Like here you have basically it's 90% of important how much you have upgraded weapon due to this damage against stun foes and break soul power than any other random shit that's on your weapon, which is already pretty bad really. When you go into fights, you want an upgraded weapon, that's for sure, compared to the other game. So yeah. Okay, let's actually go to a fight. We actually have to go there. We can't just warp to any save point anymore. These are the only warps we have, and that's specifics to areas that we can warp to or back out of. Dungeons is our only ability to warp. So even if there's a save point somewhere in a dungeon, we can't just warp there. So we still have to walk to where we want to be, which means walking, hoverboarding, and it's just a waste of time. It's tedious, especially so in larger areas where there's just nothing in it, like over here. I believe there was like a story fight here, but still, there's so much room to go through that is just annoying. And then you have some of these warp points in these dungeons that you can use, but imagine just walking through dungeons like this, filled with fights that you don't want to do, because fights are just annoying in the first place, right? Because this hoverboard is not always available. You have to specifically go to a point in an area before you can use this, which makes it marginally more endurable to just go through. So yeah, you would just walk through this, and while you walk through this dead air area, they had the grace of just spreading these little orbs around, which are also kind of a trash item that you don't really need unless you really want to unlock some cosmetic items later on, some shit like this, and I don't really care. So I really do not recommend just going out of your way to pick this shit up at all, because in the place that we're going to right now, which is like an endgame thing, you can find these orb things to the boatloads full, if you're lucky. So yeah, you would just walk through this and pick up random shit. You can hoverboard over this gap, and you would just walk. You would just walk. Isn't that exciting? Just walking through areas, picking up random shit. Oh, look at this, I found some random item thing that you could sell for a minuscule amount of money. Isn't that great? Yeah. So when it comes to dungeons, things are not looking that much better either. There's way less dungeons and way less interesting things happening in dungeons here as well. So you just walk around and go look for the exit. And it couldn't be any more tedious if they tried, honestly. In the other game you were just zooming through places at some point because you got movement speeds that actually helped getting around places, and you could teleport to every save point that you found eventually, which really helped speed things up and getting around. And I would say that probably 40% of my playtime is just walking around, trying to get around to where I actually want to be. And everything is filled to the brim with enemies that you either have to fight or try to ignore. Because the enemies also are kind of special in a way. Because they follow you a short distance when they notice you, and then just stop following you entirely. But they also just stop following you when you walk into the edge of whatever area you're in. So if that enemy over there is just gonna notice us, right? Oh, look, it stopped. Crazy, right? And now he's following us, and now he stops again. Insane, right? So you can just hug the wall, and these enemies will just stop. They don't even try to approach you anymore. And then it's just free to walk through the place, which is kind of stupid. Because I always thought, you know, the enemies should actually go for you and try to fight you, but at the same time, the enemies aren't even interested in doing battle with you. So yeah, this is my farming area. Farm my ass through this. And you have actual teleports through these. But you don't get these for free, which is also insulting. You had to pay orbs. These orbs that I picked up, which I have 936 of. You had to pay to get a teleport. You didn't even get rewarded by just going into an area. You had to fucking just pay for progress, basically, to keep the progress that you made. But in this place, you will never see a single one of these orbs just walking through it. But when I noticed is if you go out of this, just randomly, and then go back in, and you teleport to any room, let's go to room 4, and then you go in here, it's just randomizing this. Whatever room you're going into, it's always going to be different. No, this time we have a chest room, and those rooms like this, where you just have chests lying around that you can open. And there might be an item in it that you can use to scrap for materials, a better weapon that you can upgrade. Or, if you're really, really unlucky, then you're getting just an item that you basically don't want to have in there. Like, you got a upgrade material item in a chest with weapons, and then you have like, yeah, no use for it. So it's kinda, why not just give me a item that's worth my time instead of just random garbage. So you get these, and then you go through, and then you go to another area. But you could also just go in and out of this and continue going through here and just find the same room again with the same chests and open that again for free items without any battles, and just keep doing this, and eventually you're gonna find rooms that are filled to the brim with enemies, which is always cool. Because we definitely wanted to fight 20 or 30 battles in just one room. But you can also find rooms that are full of these orbs. Which begs the question really, why couldn't they make that system just a bit better? Like, why couldn't you buy orbs? Why couldn't you get orbs after just completing battles? Even if it was just a tiny fraction of an amount. Right? Why couldn't they do that? If you really cared about cosmetics, you would actively go out of your way to search for these orbs. To unlock them. But yeah. My tip is to just ignore every orb that you see and just wait until you reach this area. Because this place is filled to the fucking brim with this. Just randomly. And you can collect them all if you really want. But even that is made tedious as all hell, because you're slow to collect all of them. And there's tons of them. And every single one is just worth one. So if you really want them, I hope you enjoy spending 5 minutes in here trying to pick all this shit up. Because nothing says fun more than just walking through dead space, picking up fucking orbs. And yeah, then you go to fights like this. And yeah. 112, I think I'm 120 or something. And you just watch this happen. If you're a higher level than the enemy, they basically do no damage to anyone. Unless they use spells. And the worst offenders for spells are these things. These grey-green motherfuckers. Fighting 2 is totally fine, even if I don't do anything. Right? But if you go in a fight, and then there's like 3 or 4 or 5, they might just absolutely destroy your ass. And they're not the worst, as long as you can control them. Sup, Gecko? But yeah, battle is still just spam. Look at this. That's a bit over leveled here. I'm just doing my overall, hey, this game's driving me insane shtick again. Right. So if you go to chamber 6, which has I think 140 level enemies, and you can also see that some of us have a higher level than others, like by 5 or 10 even, almost. And that just depends on how well somebody does in a fight. And since spells do well in a fight, the person that I controlled most, my main character, only caught up recently due to me leveling up my weapons. So spellcasters generally receive more bonus experience than everybody else. So they're a higher level in general. These scorpions are the worst to fight. I absolutely despise those. I'm looking for... Maybe we're on the wrong area. Maybe it was 6. No, we were in 6, maybe it was 5. Okay. Scroll through. Okay. Alright. These witches are some of the worst. These balls are some of the worst. because they do tons of damage with their spells, with their projectiles, with their magic, basically. And this is the whole problem of the combat too. It's spam. It's just spam. Can you spam the enemy faster than they can spam you? Good luck! Because that's all that really matters. If you get outspammed, you can't do shit. Because you can get in a stun, in a juggle, in an ailment, and just get, you know, destroyed in like 2 seconds. By like a single attack, basically. So I can find double witches just to demonstrate how insane this is. Oh. Yeah, if you get hit in the back, it's a risky encounter, so you have less of the blue ball shit. Try to escape this. Oh. Looking for double witches. Because you don't want to fight enemies that are like 10 or 20 levels above you at all. You could deal with it in the other game. But here it's just absolute insanity to even attempt. Because everything is just going to demolish your ass. Yeah, like 6. The thing with battles is if you wanted to do an art like this, in Zestiria you actually had some time, some block time, where they couldn't stagger you, but here everybody can stagger everyone. Like if someone of my casters is actually trying to do a spell, and every single attack just brings them out, gets them out, knocks them out of their spell casting. Which wasn't the case in Zestiria, so it's even more important to just, you know, let them do their thing without actually being attacked. And yeah, just getting hit by one of these, everybody takes tons of damage. But as long as you control the spellcasters, they can't do shit. And as long as they control your spellcasters, they can't do shit. So it's just, like I said, it comes all down to, hey, who can outspam who the fastest? And the less stuns and ailments you get, the more attacks you can do, the less you get hit, and the more you hit them, the less orbs they have to actually attack, the less they can do. So if you really get hammered on, you're just fucked, basically. And yeah, with the right time, you can just survive. Like, I don't even know how she fucking got knocked the fuck out over there right now. But everybody's just getting hammered. The problem with getting hammered is that one attack can hit you multiple times. So if you're stuck in like a spell and you get hit by 200 damage, you probably get hit like 5 times and you lose like 1000 damage. And while you're in that attack, the other enemies just fucking attack you too. And you're just sitting there, you know, with your hands tied behind your back. You can't do anything about it while 4 enemies just pummel you into the ground. Is really the experience that I'm actually looking for, right? I want to be held down and fucking just trashed on, just absolutely demolished, right? With no way out, nothing to do. So yeah, you can break one of those blue orbs, which gives you this Therianized version, and depending on what enemy you attack with this, you get a specific bonus. For instance, we got a demi-human Therianized. So that means we get a movement speed and 2 times the regen while moving. So we regen more of our blue orbs when we attack. If we use a different enemy If we use that on a different enemy, we get different bonuses out of it. But just for the time we are actually in that form with our red claw. Right? But the negative side of it is, the longer we are in this fucking form, the more health we're losing. The faster our health's gonna go down to like 1 HP. And then we automatically use this, get out of that, and then we just get knocked out. Because we just have 1 HP. So you just want to continuously keep going in there. Which is a bit of a problem. When you just can't regen them at all. Like if you use one, you lose one. So while you use them, you also want to inflict status ailments and stuns on them. So you can regain those blue orbs that you already used. So you can just continue staying in this form. Continuously stun lock the enemies, right? And just continue doing this. And then just fucking keep on going. So they can't do shit. While your people just spam them with spells. And you also can't be killed in this form. You can at most get knocked down to 1 HP. And then when you get out of the form, you can use it again. And then just go back in immediately afterwards again. And then just, it's basically the same circle of destruction. You use an orb, you inflict and stun, you gain an orb, you use an orb, you inflict a stun, you gain an orb, right? It's just the cycle of stun locking, ailments, killing, and it's just rinse and repeat for you. And as well for the enemy, because if they fucking hit you with stuns, you get fucked in the ass continuously. So yeah, it's just all about that basically. Just stunning, staggering, and waiting for everybody else to basically spell cast, get spells, and maybe inflict stuns. And then the enemy can't do anything, you just hammer them down. So it's just not really that interesting. And there's some things you can do. So like, also the style, how you're doing things. Like I can set my attacks, what I want to attack with. Right, I can combo this as much and however I want to fucking have these attacks play out. But a lot of them inflict stuns, right? A lot of them have status downs, absorb HPs. So you wanna mix them up in a way that makes sense. So you wanna have some absorb HPs, some stuns, and then later on go into maybe some paralysis or some other stuff, right? Some things that make sense, but you also have like elemental effects on these. So if you use some of them, they can still inflict the stuns, but might do just 1 damage, which doesn't really matter that much because as long as you can inflict the stun, the enemy can't do anything. So you know, it's kind of whatever at that point. And you just try to whittle them down as much as you can. And then you can also do attacks that nobody can do anything about, right? Where you just immediately kill something. If you have the appropriate level for it. So you could also just waste these. And waste these away for easy heals. If they can heal you, then you can just go back into attacking again. But generally it's just not very engaging. It's just a bunch of hoping for the best, that people spam everyone else before they get hit by one attack that hits them 5 times for 500 and basically instantly die. And since status ailments and stuns are based on focus, this also depends on how much focus your enemy has. So if your enemy has like 1000 focus or 2000 focus, that basically means one attack can just instantly stun you. If you have like too low of a defense against attacks in the first place. And you either use items to revive them, or you use a character that actually has a revive, that can use that to revive people. But try reviving somebody when the spell, first of all, takes forever to go through, so you might as well just use an item. Right? Because you can't just do a spell anymore. Because every attack gets you out of your spell. And there's nothing you can do. So everything just turns into a big ass waiting game for something to happen. When you have a lot of enemies. And yeah. If a single attack can just stop the spellcasters from doing anything, then you can get spammed down very, very easily when you're facing a lot of enemies that do a lot of spammy attacks, basically. And the worst offenders of that are probably ghost type enemies. And this is also not helped by the fact that these enemies have like 50,000 health or 100,000 health at times even. So you just hammer down on this forever until something happens and they die. So it's really, really random. Some fights you can just immediately hammer down on enemies and kill them in like a good 20 seconds. Other times fights are so fucking tedious. You're in them for like a good 5 minutes. Because if you can't inflict stuns on enemies, they take less damage. So you really wanna be able to stun the enemy so you can do more damage. But it also works the other way around, right? So if you get stunned, they do more damage. Which means they can just instantly kill you, basically. Everyone on their team. And yeah, that's great when everything is just reliant on stuns and status ailments and staggers in the fight. It's always a good sign. If you ask me, it's always a good sign. So the easiest enemies to fight are these, even though they still can get you when they just gang up on somebody, because a single stun takes your ability away to do anything. So if you're stunned and then there's 2 other enemies just pummeling you, you're instantly dead. There's nothing you can do about it. Other than maybe quickly try to use an item or something. But it happens so fast that you're basically dead in a second. You might just not even notice. So these enemies can't do shit right now because we're pummeling them constantly with attacks, just stunning them with attacks. Am I really enjoying basically punching down on somebody that can't do anything against it? I don't know. I'm sure there's some strategy involved, but this is the real enemy that is absolutely abysmal. Not only do they tons of damage with a single attack, look at the range of that spell. The battlefield is from here to over where that rock is on the right, and one of them has a cast radius, a spell cast radius of basically 50%, 60% of the entire area. And you have 4 of these guys. And the spell casting of this is extremely fast. So if all 4 of these dudes cast this attack at once, and you get hit all the time, everybody's gonna die of this. And there's basically nothing you can do. Then you get poisoned, which means your health is automatically draining and you need somebody to actually cast a healing spell to remove that, I think. And try casting a spell when those other spellcasters, which are faster casting spells, cover the entire area and just stop you from doing anything, basically. And then they also do this weird pulling attack. So, yeah. So if you're not directly doing anything about these puzzles, doing spells and constantly spamming, just fuck all you can do. Nothing's gonna happen. And it's even worse when you get hit by a spell like this, because if you're in a juggle like that, you can't do shit. There could be a guy casting a spell, like that water spell, that hits you for 700 like 4 times. And then right after that, another guy does it on you, you get hit by the same spell again, and you're just in a constant juggle and you're just fucked. You just can't do anything. Right? Like what do you do about this? Nothing. Like most of the time the AI just doesn't even know what to do with this shit. Like these are the worst types of enemies to fight. If they're all stacked together like this, you might have a chance, because you can control them all at once, but if they're spread out, good fucking luck. Like you could just be in here and then you could just control them, juggle them constantly and they can't do anything. Meanwhile, your guys can get stuns through. You can actually do some damage, so if you don't let them do anything and you get to outspam them, then yeah, you win the game. But if you get outspammed, then hey, do you like taking it up the ass? Yeah? Well, this is the game for you. So yeah, as long as you just keep on hammering on everything, there's nothing anybody can do. And if they hammer on you, there's nothing you can do. And this is truly the greatest of great combat systems I've ever seen. And yeah, based on how well somebody outspammed the enemy, how much damage they did, they get bonus experience. And yeah, cool stuff. I'm not gonna do this. I'm gonna get out of this fucking shit. These unnamed items need odorless fluid. And the only thing you get odorless fluid is by randomly finding it somewhere. Or items that have no random skills on it. Which is really a bit of an issue, because the moment you find those items that grant you those random skills on items, there's basically less of a chance to find items that have no random skills on them. So the more you progress through the game, the more chance of random skills you find on items, the less of a chance you get of finding items with no random skill on it. But you kind of want to have items with no random skill on it available to you, because it has one of the most important upgrade materials for late game weapons. And as far as I understand it, yeah, there's no other way other than to get a weapon that has no random stats, or just finding it randomly in the world. But if you go through shops, you will most likely never find one of those weapons. Every single one has either 1, 2, or 3 random skills on it. And maybe on a blue moon you're gonna find a single weapon that has no random skill on it. So you not only have to farm for higher level item drops to get the materials to upgrade those same weapons, you also have to farm for lower level item drops to get the materials required to upgrade those higher level items. Which is just an entire clusterfuck of what the hell, if you ask me. And you could just do away with that in its entirety if you would just allow your players to just buy upgrade materials. But the only way you can actually buy upgrade materials is... let's go here. Through really stupid minigame rewards. So if we go in the item exchange for these mini games, you have upgrade materials in here that you can get. And I don't know who in their right mind would pay out of the ass for this shit. 4,000 coins for this. 36,000 coins for this. Right? And these are really cheap fucking upgrade materials. You just farm some low level enemies and you get this out of them. So I don't know. If there was like an exchange of those materials for coins, I might get it, but I'm supposed to exchange coins for this material? Makes no sense at all. 60,000 coins for this. Just mental. And then you have this odorless fluid in here, which is only 6,000 because it's a lower level item to upgrade. It's more important though. So, still, outrageously expensive. Would never do this in my fucking entire life. This is just useless to me. Absolutely useless. I don't know. And this is just one, right? This is one single one, as far as I understand it. This is one. For one. So if you wanted to have 10, you would need 60,000 coins. And if you do like some random game in here, of these mini games, I'll just do a fast one, an easy one, right? Where you just hammer down on this fucking doll as much as you can in a certain amount of time. Right? You get a score, and then based on that score you earn coins. This one earned me 115. 115! 115! And you want me to fucking spend 6,000 on one fucking upgrade material? Who the fuck balanced this shit? Who the fuck balanced this shit? Terrible mini games as well, by the way. Right, you have these. Well, 90% of them are terrible. Okay, like you have these where you just pop balloons, and that one, and then you have go to fishing mini game too, which is really just the most brainless fucking nonsense shit mini game I've ever seen in my entire life. Can you get out of the way? Thank you. Because you just play fish, you pick bait, and then you just wait. And that's it. Wow, I got a sea cucumber. Wow, 10 coins? 10 coins? Oh wow, I'm almost there. I can almost afford that 6,000 fucking coin thing, and that's it. That's it. You just menu and wait. You menu and wait. You menu and wait for fucking nonsense amounts of coins. Why you would ever do this? No fucking idea. None. Absolutely none. So while you wade through these areas filled with enemies, filled to the brim with enemies, with combat that sucks ass, you also have like nothing really to work for, or anything interesting really happening. You have like character conversations and interactions, which are still the best thing you can probably get out of this, but at times it's just kind of a bit too, you know, too emo, too edgy maybe. I don't know. It's just not there for me. I don't know what to tell you. I think I could have teleported here as well. Well, whatever. It doesn't really matter. So I think there's at most 2 dungeons If you can even call it that. I don't even know. I'm not even sure if that would be an insult to actual dungeon design. If I would call them dungeons. Because it's just so fucking tedious and so like nonsensical and boring. Like this, the most minuscule amount of effort went into designing this, and you have like, fuck. Like look how fucking ginormous this area is, right? We started over there, and without the teleporters, we would have to fucking wade through this entire area. Not even on this board, you just have to walk. You have to walk. Walk through this area, filled with enemies. And at most I maybe fought like 1 to 10 fights in a given area. At least fight every single enemy variety in a place. Just see what they do. But some of them are also just reskins. So they just have a different coloration, right? Still the same enemy. So there's not really that much changing. Like, oh look, it's that bird enemy that we fought before. Just has a little bit different color now, wow. Isn't that's, yeah, insane stuff. So just go through this, shit. Just to arrive at places that are not worth the whole fucking journey. If there was something at the end of the shit rainbow, I would get it. But you know what you find at the end of the shit rainbow? Shit. Can you believe that? And even the music in this is more boring. Like, you had some great music in Tales of Zestiria, and this is just... it's not really there. There's some music like this. It's kind of, you know, holiday island music. And that's fine, but if you have to wade through boring places, it doesn't really make it much better. So I don't know why they made it like this. It just doesn't make any sense to me. You're slower, the areas are bigger, there's not anything interesting in it. Just trash items and nonsense. And then you come to like one of the only places that might be considered as a dungeon. And then the most you still do in this is fight enemies again, which is already, you know, you've not done that enough yet. But then you also just get to figure out these puzzles, which I don't even think I can interact with anymore because it's already solved. So you just go in these places. Press a button on this, so the water in this chalice either fills up or burns up. So waterfalls get enabled or disabled, so you can progress some more, and that's about it. That's it. That's the extent of puzzling you do. You press a button, see something happen, and then you see if that one thing affects something that actually helps you progress. That's it. There's no thinking going on. It's just try this, and then press it again a bit later. Like this place was the biggest puzzle, right? There was no bridge here. I pressed this button. The waterfall came out of the ceiling, hit this invisible bridge or whatever it was, made this water bridge, right? But then I couldn't cross over because the waterfall was in the way that came out of the ceiling. So I had to press the button again, turn the waterfall off, and voila, there's your puzzle. Now you can walk over the bridge. Intense shit, right? Absolutely intense shit. It took me hours to figure that out, and that's the extent of thought process that went into, you know, going somewhere. I will definitely not do New Game Plus, because out of my 1,000 fights or whatever, I got barely 4,000 grades together, which is not enough to enable all of this that I would love to enable. Which is just, actually I don't even want this spend type shit, because I think it's just not good to have on replays, because maybe you can affect like the random item drops. Like if you don't have specific stuff that you can, that items might receive. I don't know, it doesn't really matter, right? You would probably want, I don't even know if you would want this. It's kind of not required. I don't know if this does anything positive. Adds level up bonuses to all titles. Some stat increases may be reduced. So when you level up, you get less of, I don't know, wandering. Doubles the chance for encountering wandering enemies, so they wander into the battles. No idea. Kinda useless. You can have half experience again for, you know, those people that love not leveling up. And you can just triple up in experience and get gold, get enhanced drops, get this and get this, and then you're at 9,000, right? Which already probably means that you would need to get double grade before you can go even anywhere close to enabling most of these things. So, which means that I would have to replay it 3 times, which I'm definitely not going to do, and yeah. That ends my story of Tales of Berseria. I've seen everything, I did everything, and I didn't like it.